All right, time now is 8:28 a.m. on February 11th. So yeah, we are 13 days into round 3. I can't fucking believe it actually. It's already been half a month, almost half a month since I have returned to LA for round 3. And so far literally nothing has happened other than the little crazy thing with Aoba and then watching a movie with Cliff. But yeah, today something interesting will happen, so that's that. I slept from 1:40-ish to 7:10. Um, this is the first time I woke up by the alarm. I set the alarm at 8:15 and then woke up an hour early. So that's amazing. That's fantastic. This is the first time I woke up by the alarm in round 3. Um, so yeah, what's essentially going to happen today is at 9:30, Eric will drive his car outside of my apartment and will pick me up and will drive me to his place, or will pick up Christian first, and then he'll drive me to his place, and then at his place we'll sit down and we'll just talk about Eric's short film that he's going to make for the Long Beach application, the 2 minute long short film. So that is that. It's simple as that. I have no idea how long is it going to take. I also don't know why we have to meet so early in the morning. But yeah, that's that. I have no idea what to eat for lunch, so unless I and Eric and Christian band together to have lunch, I'm probably just gonna buy a Subway or something like that. Once in a while, I should buy myself a big fat lunch for some reason. Like a Subway or like a Shake Shack or something. But yeah, I'll probably just buy myself some Subway. And then, I'll go to Ralph's actually. Even though I recently just bought a bunch of food off of Wii, I still realize that I need more food because I just it's just not enough still. Um and also I won't buy too much. I'll just buy some chicken breast. And then I'll buy some tomatoes, some avocado, some small vegetables like that. And then most importantly, I'll buy toothpaste because I'm actually running out of it very soon. In about 3 days, I'm gonna completely be gone of toothpaste. And I don't want to wait until a while later. Today's the day. And also toilet paper because I'm gonna be running out of that soon as well. And then yeah, that's the plan for today. And of course the uni app stuff, the Virgin rewrite, and then the Japan vlog stuff. Of course I'll continue doing that. So yesterday wasn't super productive for me, but I still managed to do most of the things. So instead of watching 2 episodes of House of the Dragon, I watched 1. I wrote 2/3 of a scene for the Virgin. 2/3. So that's something at least. And then for my uni app shit, which is the most important by the way, I did come up with the outline for my USC statement. When I was coming up with the outline for my USC personal statement, I realized, holy shit, I could have said a lot more in my UCLA personal statement. But the issue is the UCLA personal statement has to be 2 pages or less, which is about, I think, 700 words, 750 words ish. But the USC statement is 1,000 words or less, so I can write a lot more in USC personal statement. So yeah, I'm gonna make a really damn amazing personal statement. And this personal statement isn't just me professing and confessing my love for filmmaking. This is me being all personal and stuff. In UCLA, I get to be personal in the challenge essay. I get to talk about social anxiety and stuff like that, and I dramatized it 100 times. But at the same time, it's not that uncommon to have social problems and social fears. So in the USC essay, I'm gonna dig even deeper into me and make me sound a little freaky. You know, show the eccentric side of me. Yeah. Elegant, eclectic, esoteric. That's the 3 words I'm going to use to describe myself. It rhymes. Not that it rhymes. It all starts with E, and which is also funny because that corresponds with my name, Enoch. And you know, they do describe the 3 sides of me. You know, I'm elegant, but I'm eclectic, but then I'm esoteric. You know, it's like, you know, that's the best I could come up with. I don't know. Yeah, and so that's that. I have like 3 essays to do today. Oh my god. I'm not sure if I could make it, honestly. I'm not sure if I could make it. I'm gonna have to cut it really, really close. And then there's a self-introduction video, and I have no idea where the hell am I gonna do that type of video. I guess I could, if I really want to, on Monday, after my photography class, I can actually go to CMD and go to one of the rooms and just film myself real quick. I'll grab one of the tissue boxes here as a phone stand, and then I'll just place my phone there, and I'll just do a 40-something second long self-introduction, and then I'll leave. I'll bounce. That could work as well. But yeah, that's that. I'm gonna eat a couple donuts for breakfast, even though I'm like fed up of it at this point, but I'm still gonna do it. And I'll do a mini movie review before I leave, and that is the plan. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Replace the dragon and replace it with the monkey.
I'm not saying we're gonna get run over. I'm just saying like just be like aware.
Oh, yeah, no, this one rarely passes. I guess. It's that could be like an opening shot. But if you want to go like swimming in that, yeah, you have to go somewhere else.
Damn. But this place is actually kind of beautiful. Ooh, actually kind of nice.
And
Smash burger. Oh, thank you. Wow, it's very empty. Actually kind of juicy.
also there's napkins here if you guys want.
Damn.
Rose. When he's a filmmaker, bro.
He's filming the rap party.
Time now is 4:41. This is what I got back. First off, I got chicken breast. I got baby spinach. Okay. I got a couple toothpastes. I got three tomatoes. This is the bad kind, the dumb kind. I wanted to buy red tomatoes, but there weren't any anymore. 2 packs of Indomie. 6 cans of ginger ale. And 2 avocados. Right here. A Ziploc bag. A can of beans. Can of black beans. Raw honey. And then 6 toilet paper, except for some reason this is $17. And usually this is supposed to be $7, not 17. I don't know what the fuck happened. And altogether, this is 59, which is fucking stupid. I thought this is 30 something, but I guess not. This is some kind of mandelic acid. This is the magical acne healing juice that Pink was talking about. Comes with a dropper. Holy crap, this shit is chemical. Let's try it. Okay. This thing is actually kind of oily. All right, let's try it. I hope this is legit. Otherwise my face would be completely fucked. All right, time now is 5:50. I'm just gonna quickly go over rip to my figurines. I'm gonna quickly go over what happened today so far. So I woke up very early at 8:15. You know, ate breakfast and then quickly filmed a movie round of video. And then at 9:30 sharp, Eric showed up in his car right outside of my apartment. So I went into his car, and so we talked. He fist bumped me. We're like, yeah, what's up, you know? We talked about, you know, how's it going lately? So I thought today I and Eric and Christian will hang out and we'll discuss Eric's short film and we'll talk about what are we gonna do. And turns out that's not the case. Turns out today we're shooting. Yes, it's so all of a sudden, but you know what? It's whatever. And Eric said he only has Christian and me. Like, no one else is helping because he didn't find anyone else. A lot of other people are busy, and he forgot about Pepper. He wanted to call up Pepper, not call Pepper, but like text Pepper to ask her if she's free, but he forgot, and he doesn't want to call her or text her last minute. So it ends up being only me, Eric, and Christian. So this is for Eric's 2-minute long short film for CSU Long Beach, and it's a 2-minute no dialogue short film. And Eric has finally come up with an idea, and originally his first idea is drug dealer. So there are 2 friends. One friend is a drug dealer. The other friend, the main character, found out. And then they heard police sirens. The police are coming. And the main character decided to take the fall for his friend and be the one who's arrested. So not the most interesting or new story ever. And I can tell Eric isn't really that crazy about writing a very unique story for this or anything. Like, he isn't super... He's not that great of a writer. Okay, let's be honest here. But that's okay. I'll still, you know, support him no matter what. And I even thought to myself, like, I bet he's gonna make it in black and white. And turns out Eric is going to make it black and white. And I thought, well, it would be funny if we use an aspect ratio. And even though Eric didn't even think of using an aspect ratio. He just thought, whatever normal ratio it is, 16:9. But then later, when we actually started shooting, Christian was like, "What aspect ratio do you want?" And Eric looked at the list of aspect ratios, and he's like, "Oh, 4:3 looks good." So we went with 4:3. So so I and Eric, we stopped by Eric's house a little bit, and Eric got a bat as one of the props, and then we went to a parking lot nearby in El Segundo. There was a train track, and there was this dry, muddy, disgusting land where for some reason there were a lot of trash and there were a lot of shoes on the floor, on the ground, and it was kind of rusty and industrial and empty. It's a pretty depressing spot to live in, and it feels like the middle of freaking nowhere, But yeah, we went there, and we went through a little opening through the iron fence. I had a little difficulty going through it the first time. And then we hopped on the train tracks, and then from 10 p.m. to 1 p.m. we shot the whole thing. So that's the first idea Eric had. The second idea Eric had, and the final idea is, there are two friends. They were having a walk by the train tracks, and then suddenly one of the friends were attacked by a mugger. Like there was a mugger, a robber, mugger, whatever. And then the main character blacks out. The main character gets hit in the face with a bat. The main character blacks out, and then on the next scene, the main character wakes up to find that his friend has killed the mugger. And then they heard police sirens, and then the main character decides to take the fall for the friend. Now again, it's only me, Eric, and Christian. And Eric isn't a very experienced filmmaker, and I don't blame him. I was just like him many years ago. That seems like a backhanded compliment. I'm just saying it's understandable, but he never really considered sound. So he knows he has Christian's camera. Christian's going to use his camera, and that's it. And for actors, I will play the main character, Eric will play the other guy, and Christian will be the mugger. And so we have this very complicated long take. So originally, Christian even asked Eric, do you have a shot list? Do you have storyboards? And Eric felt a little shocked, ooh, damn, I'm not as prepared as you think I am. But, I don't want this to be super complicated or anything. So, Eric did make a shot list. Very simple shot list, just 5 shots over the span of 2 minutes. That's actually not a lot of shots. And what happened is, on the first shot, I and Eric are walking along the train tracks. The second shot, the mugger appears and whacks the main character. The third shot is after the main character wakes up, and then the fourth and fifth are over the shoulders. The third is a master shot. So what happened is the first and the second shot turned into one shot. It turned into one shot only, and we tried to do it in one long take because it would feel a lot better, and it's just for logical purposes. So again, Eric doesn't have a lot of experience directing, so he doesn't he doesn't really have a clear idea of what type of shot he wants. So we would shoot it, and he's like, what if we maybe move the camera here? What if we try maybe turning the camera 180 degrees midway through the shot? He never really thought clearly. And again, I could totally understand that. Back in the days, I was like this. On my first short film, I was clueless completely. But yeah, we filmed it, and that one long take was actually a little complicated. I and Eric, we walked by the train tracks, and then Christian has to push the camera closer to me to only focus on me. Then Christian passes the camera to Eric, Eric catches the camera and Eric becomes a cameraman, and then Christian runs around the pillar, grabs a bat, and then hit me in the head. Of course, he didn't really hit me in the head. And then I fall, and then blackout. So that's what I did. And then that's it. And then for the third, fourth, fifth shots, we didn't really know what to do. So we're supposed to panic a little bit, and then I'm supposed to ask Eric, like, what is this? Why did you do it? How? And then, Eric scares me a little bit, and then we hear the sirens, and then Eric runs off, And yeah, and we tried our best, and Eric was, at the end, it's kind of satisfied, but Eric did not really think of sound, so he realized, oh my god, if there's talking in a short film, but it's supposed to be a no dialogue short film, then am I just going to replace the talking with nothing, with silence? Then wouldn't it be very awkward with music? But then that would give me a copyright problem. Like, what should I do with like train sounds and rock sounds? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, Eric really didn't think through all of it, but again, it's totally fine. I understand why. And when I'm shooting with Eric, I try my best to support him. I try my best to say, like, hey, for continuity's sake, for continuity's sake, do you want us to give a reaction by the end of this shot so that it would cut to the next shot really nice? And then for one of the shots, Eric's like, oh, how about you follow Enoch? Like me, I wake up from the blackout and then I walk to the dead body. It's very clear that he thought of that on the spot, and it wouldn't work for several reasons. Like, it works fine, it just doesn't feel right. And then I suggested, how about we do a super wide shot, because that's my style. And then Christian suggested, how about we how about we follow Enoch, but just, we don't have to, go all the way from the ground up and whatever. Eric followed Christian's idea. But yeah, we managed to finish it in 3 hours, really fast, really quick. We even got a couple of shots of a train passing by. According to Christian, a lot of people die on the train tracks because they can't even hear the train until the train is super close. And the train passed by us like 3 times, and it was really cool. It was really cool. I've never seen a train this up close before. Maybe in my life? No, I swear to God, I've seen a train this up close before. And I'm not talking about like high-speed trains, like Japanese speeding bullet trains. Like I've seen those, of course, and Hong Kong trains. I'm talking about like choo-choo trains. I swear I've seen them, but it's been a while. So yeah, it's pretty fun, pretty nice. And then afterwards, I and Eric and Christian went to Eric's place. Eric grabbed his laptop and exported the videos. Moved the videos from Christian's camera to his laptop, and then I was really hungry, and I was low-key thinking, like, damn, like, I know I don't take these things for granted, but it would be amazing if Eric would just take us somewhere to eat, because it's like 1-something p.m., 1:30 p.m., we're super hungry. So Eric's like, yeah, sure. So Eric brought us to a little area beside the Manhattan Beach where we had Smash Burger, which is amazing. It tastes really great. It's also a lot of calories, but who cares? And the thing is, Eric didn't pay for us. We had to pay for ourselves, and it was kind of unspoken. Like, Eric didn't say to us, oh, you got to pay for it yourselves. But, usually, out of manners, I told you to come out to make a short film for me. Like, I pay you back, at least with lunch. But Eric didn't do that, and it's fine. It's fine. It's his first. I understand. So I paid $17.79 for a regular drink and a Colorado Smash Burger, and it tastes really great. I love the melting cheese. I love the peppers. It tastes really good. And I used my bare hands to eat it, and it's nice. And we talked a lot. We talked about Film 33. Eric and Christian asked me about my Japan trip. I talked about Hong Kong a little bit because I have to. I realize I'm really American. Like, I know so much, and I probably know even more. Like, there are so many points today where I feel like I know even more about everything than Christian and Eric. Like, I just generally know more about cultures and languages and even small things like drama and film 33, I just know a lot of shit for some reason. Christian told me he just took a philosophy class called Eastern Philosophy over the winter semester, as well as another really lame class. But he took philosophy and he learned things about postmodernism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism, and Zen Buddhism as well. And we talked about, Zen Buddhism a little bit, and it's interesting because it's like related to me, but also not. Like when people talk about Confucianism, I should be the one closest to this, but also not really. So it's interesting. But I told Christian, hey, if you come to Hong Kong, you should definitely visit the Buddhist shrines and the Buddhist gardens and everything. You'll like it. And then we talked about what classes we're taking next semester. We talked a little bit about people. It's just funny. This is actually the first time me, Eric, and Christian actually got to hang out together. It's actually the first time since the film 40 Days, which is nearly a year ago. And it also makes me realize how much Pepper is intertwined with all of us. Like, again, Pepper is not exactly, but kinda in our group as well, with Christian, me, and Eric. Eric and Christian just casually mentioned, oh yeah, why didn't you call up Pepper? Why didn't you text Pepper about this? When I and Alba were chatting and we talked about photography class, I told Alba, I and Pepper were in the same class. And then when I and Cliff were together, I forgot if we mentioned Pepper or not, but Pepper was definitely in mind. Like, she's so intertwined with my life right now, it's really impossible to get rid of her, So that's that. But yeah, apparently Eric's also taking photography 1, but he's taking the morning class on Mondays and Wednesdays, which means that Eric and Alba are going to be studying in the same photography class, while I, Pepper, and Potter will be taking in a little bit later. So that's that. Really funny. But hey, at least Alba's not alone. Yeah, and then after that, Eric drove me to Ralph's near my home. I went to Ralph's, bought a bunch of stuff. As much as I hate buying stuff, I just don't spend money anymore, please. And then came back home, and here I am. So yay. Took a shower, washed my face, used Pink's magical acne healing juice for the first time, and gotta really focus on the uni app stuff. Really gotta do that. Alright, time now is 11:18 p.m. So yeah, I have nothing to say. Had dinner, really simple. I didn't really have to eat anything too much because the smash burger today, lunch, was already quite heavy. And I really don't want to spend too much money on anything next week. So let that be, please, I guess. I am writing my personal statement for USC. And at first it seems daunting because it's 1,000 words or less. So I want to write a lot, and I thought, wow, it's really giving me a lot of space for creativity. So I sectioned my personal statement to 2 parts. There are 2 parts to my personal statement. The first part is basically the UCLA social anxiety essay. Back in secondary school I didn't have friends, I was abandoned, blah, 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 blah. And the second half is about politics. And I finished writing the first half, and it was already 1,150 words after I finished that, like, all combined. So I realized, holy shit, 1,000 words seems like a lot, but then if I really go ham on the essay, come on. Like, if you tell me to write 3,000, 4,000 words on my school life, it would definitely not be enough. Like the moment I touch on my school life in any essay, in any writing, like I can just write forever. I can literally write books after books after books. I could write a whole series of novels just on it. Like I am just like I just have that much to say about my school life. So I mean, there's that. Um, yeah, I finished editing the Japan vlog. It took me 3 days, 4 days to finish it. Which is pretty fast. Like, goddamn. Um, but yeah, that's that. And then yeah, not much else really. Nothing else happened. I have nothing to say. I don't have any crazy thoughts or feelings. For the last few days, I just don't have any crazy or insightful thoughts and feelings because there's nothing to be said and done. All I can do now is wait. A couple days later, semester is going to begin, and I'll be seeing Pepper and Potter, and I have no idea what's going to happen. Whatever is going to happen is going to be very interesting. It's going to be, I feel like it's like round 2 again, almost, because on the first Film 32 class of round 2, I didn't even know if I and Pepper will even speak to each other. Like, I just wasn't sure. And then now I'm basically feeling the same again. Like, I'm not sure if Pepper will even, like, fucking speak to me. Like, again, I'm gonna predict. I make all these goddamn predictions, right? I see Pepper, she's gonna say hi. She's gonna be like, hi, she's gonna stand aside as if nothing's happened between us. And truly, nothing has happened between us. And that's exactly what's weird about it, because we were talking and chatting nearly every other day back in round 2. And then suddenly I decide not to speak to her for 1 month. And she decides not to speak to me for 1 month. And, you know, it's weird. Like, I remember how back in, like, May or June of 2020, I decided not to speak to Natalie for 4 days, and Natalie immediately checked on me like, what? You've been kind of quiet lately? Like, like, goddamn, man. Like, Natalie, like, the more I talk about Natalie, the more I realize she's such a, like, if Mary doesn't exist, man, Natalie would be it for me, really, you know. Like, holy shit. I did speak to her for 4 days. Of course, nowadays, I don't speak to her for months. I don't speak to her for 3 months. I don't speak to her for 4 months, and it's fine. And it's fine. And in the future, I don't speak to her for a year. I don't speak to her for a couple of years, and then I go back to Hong Kong and we meet up for a dinner or something, and then we don't see each other. It was just sad, but it's fine still, because I've accepted this kind of friendship. But I don't know, not Pink, Pepper, I just, I almost forgot Pepper's real name. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what's gonna happen. I also don't think I have the time to watch a movie tonight. Maybe I'll watch half a movie. That's fine by me, honestly. Yeah, but I'll definitely focus on the uni app stuff. That's the most important. And yeah, that's that. Nothing else. Oh yeah, and the Virgin. I gotta work on that as well. Definitely gotta work on that. Yeah, I really have nothing to say. I just want to say something, because saying things feel nice, but I really have nothing to say. It really shocks me to find out that it's basically only 5 days left before I have to submit USC Chapman, and it still feels like there's a bunch of stuff I haven't done. So that's really scary. I'm gonna do the self-introduction video on Monday. I'm gonna inconspicuously film the self-introduction video there. I don't want to film here in my room, even though it's totally fine. Actually, you know what? I'll just do it in my room. Fuck it. It's just boring, is what it is. Yeah. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Again, like I said, I think I definitely will find a more interesting girl than Pepper. Like, even Aoba's closer to me. Like, holy shit. Like, back in April, May of last year, like, I already know Aoba exists. And I used to think she is sort of, you know, Japanese girl who's. At first, I didn't. At first, I thought she's, like, really, like, 20 something years old. But turns out she's sort of like me, same age as me. And then I started to think, oh, wait a second, like, who is she? What is she doing here? And I was really interested, like, oh, maybe her world is way larger, you know, than I know. Like, maybe she knows a lot more about like LA, and she has a way larger friend group. And it's just like she's just so far away. And then God only knows in round 3, the first person I hang out with is literally Alba, and I go all the way to Hollywood just to meet her, and then we take a lift back home. It, like, ugh, so little can happen. So much can happen in such a small amount of time. Like in conspiracy standards, that's quite crazy. Because in conspiracies, it's basically like, you know, I befriend Pink, and it still takes about maybe a year, maybe a year and a half until we just hang out, and it's just the both of us. In fact, I think the first time I hung out with Pink and it's just the both of us is literally, I think, December of 2021 ish. I think when we watched Anita together, I think that's the first time. I really don't know. Things just take a long time in the world of conspiracies, but in a good way. Like, conspiracies is still more interesting to me. But yeah, I'll definitely find a girl who's more interesting than Pepper. A Hong Konger, hopefully. Which is gonna be tough, but I'm sure I'll find one. If I don't find a Hong Konger in my college, I'll find one in after I transfer, honestly. Or I'll find one somewhere else. Just, there's gotta be something, man. There's gotta be something, someone. Like, I don't know, I just gotta really go out there and connect with people. I think by working with John L. for his short film, I'm gonna also meet up a lot of USC filmmakers, and I think that's really gonna help me expand my circle. I feel like if I join more things, like, sometimes people just go to UCLA parties despite not being part of UCLA. Kind of want to do that, but that's also so out of character for me. But I can actually just do that. It would totally be fine. Go to Monterey Park and Alhambra more. Try to avoid the church group, really, but I'm sure there's definitely a damn solid Hong Kong community there. And of course, if you live in, I don't know, Vancouver or like Sydney or Manchester or something like that, or London, then finding Hong Kongers shouldn't be difficult. But yeah, that's that. It's 1:37 a.m. in the morning. There's a fucking giant cockroach appearing right here again. It has to be 1:30 a.m. Are you fucking kidding me? It was right here. It touched this bag, and it touched my diagonal bag, and then it went here. And now it's gone. Good to know he's still alive, and he's not killed by my roommate. Alright, time now is 10:20 a.m. in the morning on February 12th. Yeah, so I slept from 1:50 to 9:20, but then 9:17 actually, and then I went back to bed like I stayed on my bed because I'm still tired, and then I woke up at 10. So last night, right before I slept, of course, Kevin the cockroach has returned again. Literally came out of nowhere, and my dumbass thought it somehow sneaked past me and went outside, and it's not in my room anymore. I'm wrong. It's still somewhere in there. I don't know how. I don't know why. His base of operation must have changed, because originally it has to be in here, but I cleaned up everything here, so it must have changed somewhere else, unfortunately. And again, it's a miracle that I was even able to sleep. But yeah, it's a gigantic native cockroach, and it stepped all over my bags, and that's great. So I guess Kevin will be living with us continuously. So that's that. So today I'm really trying my best to not focus on the cockroach. Like, you know, if it's still there, like there's nothing I can do. I probably won't be able to find it anyway. It probably lives in my walls. That's what's that's what's happening. You know, it's probably like living on inside a wall or something like that. So, can't do anything about that. Yeah. Fuck. So today I really don't have much planned. Of course, I have the usuals. I have reviews. I got the uni app stuff. I want to rewrite the version. I planned to watch the menu last night, but of course I didn't have the time to do that. So yeah. I'll probably do that today. And then at around 2 p.m. I'm going to go out and hang out with Thomas. Thomas is real eager to hang out with me. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he's just too lonely, but he's constantly Instagram DMing me like every single day. Like Thomas is asking me, when I want to hang out. Thomas asked me questions about Film 33, like when do you think Film 33 would end? And then Thomas randomly asked me, oh, I wrote a script for Film 33 and it's similar to Lust Caution. Do you think that would be okay? And Thomas asked me, have you watched the movie Molman, which is the new Tony Leung film, Hidden Blade, I think it's called. And then Thomas randomly asked me yesterday if he wants me to be picked up by him. Like, he wants to drive me to school every Thursday. And of course I can't turn down that. That's really good. Like, duh, that's better than driving a bus, taking the bus. Of course, listening to music and taking the bus is awesome. I love that as well, because you really get to be in the mood. Yeah, sure, I'll have a free ride to school every Thursday. So I said, yeah, sure, that would be nice. And then he asked me when do I want to be picked up? Like, yada yada. Because he has a car now. So I really don't know what's going on with him. He's being really clingy. It's funny actually. He's older than me. He's supposedly more experienced in life than me. He's from Massachusetts. He came all the way to LA, blah, 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 blah. But I feel a lot more mature than him. It's kind of funny and sad, really. There's just something kind of sad about Thomas, Yeah, not much else, really. Not much else. Yeah. Last night, even though I didn't watch the movie, The Menu, I was somewhat productive. I finished the USC personal statement at 997 words, just 3 words shy from the maximum word limit, And honestly, I'm pretty proud of it. Honestly, I think it's pretty solid. Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid personal statement. I'll proofread it and go over it again and see if it has a cinematic feeling, but I think the first half really gave me personality, and the second half, touching on politics and touching on why I make films, also also I wrote it in an interesting way. So, I'm pretty proud of it. And that in turn gave me a bit of motivation to write the interest pursuit essay for the USC Common App, which I think I wrote about half last night before I went to bed. But it's just one of those essays where I have to prove USC is the best ever. It's basically a why me essay. Like USC asking me, why did you want to enroll in USC? Why me? So that's that. And then I have, of course, 3-4 essays to work on today. Hopefully I finish the Chapman Common App today so that I can, actually get to the Chapman portfolio and submit it like 4 days later, submit the Chapman portfolio 4 days later. But yeah, hopefully I get to finish the Chapman Common App. And I also finished one scene for the Virgin, but that's the scene I almost completed a couple nights ago, so it wasn't a big deal or anything. So yeah, that's that. I just find myself getting distracted all the time when I write essays and everything. I just ended up editing my Japan vlog because it's just so much fun to edit, and I should focus on the uni app more. So I should really do that. I also don't have any idea what to eat for breakfast or lunch. Like, my lunch is gonna be pretty heavy today. It's gonna be like chicken breast, chicken breast, tomato, avocado, tortilla wrap, which is gonna taste amazing, really. So I'm gonna have a light breakfast, maybe some butterfly biscuits, something like that. A boiled egg, perhaps. And also my stomach is hurting right now for some reason. That's great. Yeah, and let's hope Pink's acne healing fluid works. For the first time in my dealing with avocados, which is 3 times, including this time, I successfully removed the seed out of the avocado by chopping my knife into the seed and twisting it, and I almost cut my finger, but the seed popped out and went in here. But holy crap, this is perfecto. I am currently frying some chopped up chicken breast. Okay. That's some barbecue sauce. I'll just slice them up like this. Fuck. Okay.
And then you can see where your potential new home will be.
Where my potential new home?
Okay, we're not gonna go.
You mean UCLA?
To yourself?
It's kind of goofy, kind of silly.
But we're almost there.
Ooh, damn.
Just because you want to do this class.
Or once again in USC. How ironic. I'm working on the USC applications, and then I'm in USC. How ironic.
McDonald's on Overland, like near Overland and Pico.
All right, time now is 8:45. My voice is incredibly raspy right now because I spoke a lot today, so I'm not gonna say everything right now. I'm just gonna quickly recap what happened this morning and maybe talk a little bit about what happened between me and Thomas, and then I'll move on with my late dinner. Time now is 8:45 p.m. Holy shit. So hopefully I have enough time to do everything tonight, but yes, so this morning nothing really happened. I heard Jacob and Candace, my two roommates, chatting, and I thought to myself again, man, am I being the introvert? Am I being too introverted? Because roommates are supposed to chat and talk and stuff, right? And it's like they're excluding me, and I don't know. So while I was cooking breakfast, which is very simple, just a boiled egg and a banana and a couple butterfly biscuits, and that's it. I wanted to say something to Jacob, at least say hi. So I said hi, but my voice came out kind of raspy, so it's like, hi. And Jacob was listening to music, and he took off his his AirPod, and I wasn't speaking, and it was a little awkward. And then I found something to say, because there were cockroaches in the timer in the oven, so I told Jacob, like, there's a cockroach in the timer, and he's like, oh, that's weird. And he tried to press it, or spook it away. Turns out it's inside. I said, it's inside. And he's like, what? Wow, how? He said he needs to call pest control. And I'm like, yeah, you know. And I said I saw one earlier in my room as well. And then a little bit later, Jacob asked me, oh, are you going to watch the Super Bowl later? And I said, oh, it's today? I didn't know that. And he's like, you don't watch football? And I'm like, no. I don't really watch it. And he said, well, I started watching when I was 20, and I joked around saying, yeah, well, that's exactly my age. And he's like, yeah, you know, once he learned about the rules and how it works, he started watching it a couple of years ago. And I asked him, oh, is the Super Bowl going to take place in the LA stadium? And he said, oh no, that was last year. And I was like, oh, that's why the traffic was so bad last year around this time. And he's like, yeah, apparently the football match will take place in Arizona this time. So that's that. And he said he's going to cook himself something, and then he's going to hit the gym, and then he's going to a friend's place. And apparently Candace, the white woman roommate, she's also going to a friend's place to watch Super Bowl. So it's just me, not really in for the occasion. So there's that. So I planned to meet up with Thomas at 2 p.m., which gives me a small window of time to cook lunch and eat it, but that's totally fine. And then somehow at 12:40 something, Thomas randomly texted me saying, hey, I can actually leave now. Do you want me to swing by your place now? And I don't know what to say because I plan to film a review and cook lunch and eat it. Like, this sudden change of plan is not good. But then, so there's this confusion, especially because it involves lunch. So I was like, yeah, but... So he straight up called me in the middle of my review. And I said, well, give me about half an hour to an hour. And he's like, okay. So I finished the review and everything. Apparently he went back home. And then I DM'd him. I thought to myself, okay, if he's coming up to my place to pick me up earlier, then maybe we can have lunch together. So I texted him, and then he called me again. He said, hey, what's up? And I was a little annoyed. Like, come on. He's like, I asked him if he's eaten already, and he's like, oh yeah, I ate something at church, but it's something small. Like, if you want to grab food, that's totally fine. We can eat something together. So I had a dilemma, whether I should eat lunch with him or eat lunch at home. The thing is, I already planned the lunch, and that is the avocado tomato chicken breast wrap that I was pretty excited to make, honestly, even though it came out kind of a disaster. But it was very filling, actually. And it's also, I also don't want to waste money on food anymore. But then it's nice to eat food with friends, I guess. So I had a dilemma. And after he said he already ate something, I was like, okay, okay, good. Then, you can come anytime. And he's like, all right. So he went back to his place to grab a laptop, and he went out again. And I basically had about half an hour to cook lunch and eat it all up. And that's what I did. I speed ran it. I cooked a chicken breast. I opened the avocado, ate the whole fucking thing. I ate one avocado all by myself. Never done that before, but gotta finish it because I have no idea how to store it without it oxidizing. I ate half a tomato. Oh yeah, I probably should cook that tomato like right now. And then yeah, and then that's it. I'm ready to go. And he already arrived at my place, and I said, "Give me about 10 minutes." So I quickly finished the lunch, and then I changed my clothes and I went out. And I'm so glad I did, because he really has no plans to get food, even though he's like, "Oh, it's totally fine." But I can tell he always implies that, you know what, you want to chat first maybe? So AKA, he doesn't want to get food. So yeah, I hopped onto his car. He's like, "What's up? How are you doing? How's Japan?" And I was like, "Hey, what's up? How's your winter break? Blah, 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 blah." We didn't know where to go. I had no idea where to go, nor do I really care. So at first we went to Westwood. And as it turns out, it's super cold and we have no idea where to go. So he's like, "How about we just go to CMD on our college campus? At least we can find a room to talk and chat." And I'm like, "Sure." So we drove all the way to CMD. By the way, Thomas has a new car. He has a Tesla now. He received on December 26th. And it's brand new, and he's very, very, very worried that I may quote unquote damage it. So I accidentally kicked the little box in front of me. I was sitting shotgun, and he told me to take out a bag of wipes and clean that part up. Like, what the fuck? Okay, fine, I get it. Like, I also clean my camera after someone else touches it. After I touch it, I clean it too. I make sure it's clean. Okay, fine. And then he told me to also clean the dust at the window and at the side, at the bottle holder. Fine. So that's what I did. We went to CMD. Turns out it's closed because it's a Sunday. Of course it's closed, duh. So we're like, I don't know where to go. So I said, "How about USC?" And he's like, "It's kind of far away, but sure, I'm down if you really, really want to go." And I'm like, "Well, do you have any ideas?" And he doesn't. And he doesn't want me to go to his apartment either. He's like, "Wow, all right, inviting yourself to my apartment. Okay." So, okay, fine, because I have nowhere else to go. So at the end, we went to USC. It took about half an hour for us to arrive at USC. By the time we arrived at USC, it was about 2 p.m.-ish. Not 2 p.m., like 3 something p.m. And I even said, I was a little thirsty, but just a little. And I said I wanted to drink something. And he's like, "Okay, yeah, sure, we can grab something to drink or eat something if you want." And then I followed him, and then he entered the school of cinema. And then we explored that area a little bit. It's pretty interesting. It's my first time entering the actual buildings, the classrooms, but none of the classrooms were open, and it's too quiet. So then we went to the building of humanities, where I and my where Thomas shot one of the scenes for his short film. So we went to the building of humanities, and there's an empty classroom. It's perfect. And we just went there, and then Thomas went to the bathroom. He came back, and he's like, "If you want to grab a drink, just go. I'm going to stay here." So, I mean, I can go, but he's basically implying it's just go, whatever. I'll wait. So fine, I just sat down, and I didn't go buy a drink or anything. And that's totally fine, because I had the avocado wrap, and that was really filling. So I'm really glad I ate that wrap today. But yeah, and then we just spent about 3-4 hours there just talking about script writing club. He brought a laptop and he's like, I've told you 5 times to bring your own laptop. And that's true, but I also don't want to bring my laptop because then if I go back home, I'll have to clean it all over again. It's annoying. So I said, well, A, you didn't say that 5 times. Maybe you said it 1 time or twice. You didn't say that 5 times. B, my laptop is like chunky and I don't want to bring it out. And he's like, well, animals are chunky, but I love them. Like I wouldn't leave my dog in my room. And I'm like, but laptops are not dogs. And he's like, okay. But yeah, we talked about script writing club, and of course, we started having different opinions. He wanted to spend the entire freaking semester on all the meetings. First meeting, we write Act 1. Second meeting, we rewrite Act 1. Third meeting, we write Act 2. Second meeting, we rewrite Act 2. Third meeting, we write Act 3. Last meeting, we rewrite Act 3. And that's so fucking boring. That's basically the syllabus of Film 21. That's so stupid. And I told him, that's boring as hell. And he's like, but no, but that's all script writing is about. Like, whether you hate it or not, that's literally script writing. But I'm like, no, but that's so boring. Then that's just literally the same with Film 21. We got to make it interesting so that we need to be different. So there's a lot of back and forth. I told him, how about we talk about things we haven't talked about, like character relationships, plot twists, and maybe we talk about dialogue again. And he's like, boring. So we had some differences for a while, and then at the end we came up, oh, how about we just focus on games? Like he's like, how about we just focus on games? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's just focus on games and reverse engineer it. So we ended up thinking of games for every single meeting, whether it be Jeopardy or we come up with crazy game ideas. Like I thought maybe we could try capture the flag. I literally just came up with it on the spot. I didn't even know how is it going to work out. How am I going to make it related to script writing? But I was like, I don't know, capture the flag. And he's like, that's a great idea. And he actually wrote it down. And he's like, Squid Game. So we wrote Squid Game. But we later canceled it. Or actually we didn't. We moved it around. And I was like, I don't know, maybe we could do like a sport, maybe relay, maybe the Olympics. And he's like, Enoch, great idea, Olympics. So we had a script writing Olympics. So we just came up with all these insane ideas and all these meetups, like ice cream meetup and boba meetup and another networking event and a lot of collaboration events. And that's basically it. And he even thanked me for pulling him out of his comfort zone because it's not the kind of boring idea that he always comes up with. It's games. It's a lot of fun, and he actually enjoys it. He's changed. He's even legit excited about these games. So that's what we did, and it was satisfying. We had a very solid rundown of what we're going to do next semester. And we even joked around saying, oh, film club and acting club will be shook. Our Italian professor, he will be shook. So that's that. And then after that, the sun was already set, and we spent a little time talking about Film 33. So Thomas told me his idea for the script he wants to write for Film 33. And of course, given that it's Thomas, of course it's political, of course there's a love triangle, and of course it has to be about China and its relationship with foreign cultures, because that's his own struggle as a Chinese person adopted by an American family. So this is basically Lust Caution, but his version of Lust Caution. And it's very complicated, which I like. I like complicated stories. But Thomas's story is essentially China back in the 1920s or 1930s. China and America are allies. China sent a girl to spy on the Japanese and make her act like a Japanese. And then the Japanese saw her, and the Japanese made her a spy for the Americans. So it's like the same girl, the main character, spying for Japan and spying for America at the same time. But America is the protagonist. So what happened is At the end, the girl sided with America, and Japan found out and captured the girl and tortured her or whatever. And the American soldier who was in love with that girl, in the future, when he was very old, he was like, if I have one regret in my life, it would be I didn't save that girl. And then the short film ends. And it's definitely 10 times, 20 times, 500 times more interesting than all of his other short film ideas. And I do have to admit that it's good. It's pretty good. But I just don't know how he's going to turn it into a 10-page short film. Like, that's a feature film. That's not a short film. So I explained my idea. I said, I don't really know what I want to write, but it's going to be related to cults. It'll be about generational trauma. It's going to be about, it's going to be a political thriller mixed with horror. And it's going to be sort of like what I had in mind for my first feature film, but a mini version of it. And it's going to be like, the main character. And I even thought of ideas on the spot. Like I thought, oh, damn, okay. I thought to myself, oh, what if the main character grows old?
Yeah, babe, I know her. She's transgender, babe. I think she's transgender. Dead ass. No, she looks like a transgender, babe.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to end the video here. Alright, it's 10:08 p.m. Just finished dinner. It's basically 240 milliliters of rice and literally beef slices, cabbage, garlic, mushrooms, tomato, garlic powder, salt, all fried together, one big plate, and that's it. That's my dinner. And yeah, I think it's fine. I think I definitely passed the 2,000 calories count today, so it's fine. Anyways, back to what I was saying. We talked about the film 33 ideas, me and Thomas in USC. And I gave a genuine opinion. I thought, well, your idea is really good. You want to hear mine? And I talked about my cult idea. I knew it's not perfect, of course. And my cult idea is just in its very, very primal prototype form. Like, there are tons of movies and stories out there about cults and trying to escape from them. It's so common. Mine is just as common and just as cliche. I need to add things to it that make it special. So I'm far from, very, very, very far from completing it. But I immediately had an idea. While talking with Thomas, I realized, wow, my idea is really, really primal. I don't know how it ends. I don't know how the story ends. And I just thought, oh, maybe it should end. Because I really like writing about old people, my story will literally end with the main character being old and he starts another cult. So it's like a vicious cycle of occultism, basically. So Thomas was like, wow, I like your idea. I didn't expect him to like it. He even told me he watched The Banshees of Inisherin and Drive My Car, and he liked both films. And I love both of these films. And I thought Thomas would hate them because they're slow and boring, but I didn't know Thomas would like them as well, so that's a pleasant surprise. So at that point, we were really vibing on the same wavelength. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me tell you about my UCLA creative writing. So I told him about the crazy epic Song Dynasty movie idea I had that has a lot of characters and a lot of locations. I drew a map of China and I had like these character flow charts, and I basically like showed him how characters would go from here to there, and there's a battle here, there's a battle there, and then how the story would end. And he was actually pretty impressed by the end. He's like, wow, I like it, it's really good. So yeah, we were really vibing, and then at around 6 p.m., we're like, okay, let's go. Do you want to grab something to eat and drink? And he said he's very hungry. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So we really didn't know where to go. And I said, well, we can just go to McDonald's, because I was expecting that I would go back home to have dinner. But then, you know what? It's a good occasion to eat food with a friend. And, I want to sit down and chill a little bit, drink something perhaps. So I thought in McDonald's I could just buy a pie and a iced coffee or something and just chill, you know. So Thomas was like, okay, McDonald's it is. So Thomas drove the Tesla to McDonald's in Overland Avenue, somewhere near the my first host family in Rancho Park. The exact McDonald's I went to, and I freaked out, and it started raining, and I was like, oh, of course it starts raining. Like back in January of last year. It's been a while since I went to that McDonald's. We went in, and there's literally no one there. And I ordered at the kiosk. And by kiosk, I mean the, automatic self-ordering thing, the electronic ordering thing, that's kiosk doesn't really mean that, but in American fast food chains, it means that. So I guess that's that. So yeah, I ordered, I kind of want to, I'm in the mood for ice cream. So I ordered a McFlurry, a Shamrock Oreo McFlurry, which is a very cheap, $4 something, and it's about 500 calories, and plus a caramel iced coffee. And it's like 200 calories, and it's pretty cheap, and overall it's $7 something. And then here is when it started getting really weird and awkward. Thomas was like, what are you ordering? And I said, ice cream and a coffee. And he's like, what? You're not going to order burgers or fries or anything? And I told him I literally had burger yesterday. I had smash burger with Eric and Christian, and it was great, and I have food at home, I want to go home and have dinner at home. And I said that to him reluctantly, because I know it's awkward. Maybe he expected a whole ass dinner. And then Thomas suddenly said, well, if that's the case, then if you don't order food, then I won't order anything. And I said, ice cream is food. And he's like, no, it's not. Order real food, like burger and fries. And I'm like, but I had burger yesterday. And he's like, well, if you only order coffee and ice cream, I'm not going to order anything. And I'm like, why? And he said, well, it's awkward. If I eat food by myself, it's awkward. People will judge. And there's literally no one in McDonald's. There's literally no one around us. And I'm like, there's no one. And even if there are people, so what? People won't judge. Just eat a meal if you want. Why are you being peer pressured? You're peer pressuring yourself. That's silly. And instead, he starts pressuring me. And he's like, okay, if you buy a burger and fries, I'll buy burger and fries. But I won't. And I won't budge. Okay? I'm not going to be bullied by you. Okay? I am 20 years old. I know what it feels like to be budged and pressured by friends. And I won't ever do that, ever. I am buying ice cream and coffee. That's my final decision. And I even thought, well, if he really doesn't buy anything, then me buying a coffee would be stupid. So I'm just going to buy small ice cream and that's it. And then he started pressuring me, like, come on, buy food. I mean, if you buy food here, you don't have to go home and cook, and we can chat longer, and I have very useful information about USC applications and all that, and you can learn more. You have more time to learn from me, and blah, 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 blah. What the fuck? Like, that's so... I feel like someone like Thomas should have the ability to understand that what he's doing is kind of mean, and it's something that people don't do. He's just pressuring me. Come on, buy real food. Come on, buy real food. And he, earlier today, when we drove to McDonald's, he even said, oh, by the way, I'm not paying for your McDonald's, right? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And he's like, whew, I mean, just to clarify. And I'm like, well, unless you're making a short film and I'm helping you, then you gotta pay me for the food. But right now, I'm paying, of course. And he's like, whew, just to clarify. And now he's pressuring me to buy a burger. But I won't be pressured because I'm the fucking detective. So I bought an ice cream and a coffee. And he's like, what did you order? And I'm like, ice cream and a coffee. And he's like, okay, I won't buy anything. So now I feel like an idiot. Then wouldn't that make me the awkward one? I'm eating food and you're just sitting there. This is even worse than you're eating burger and I'm eating an ice cream. So at the end, he's like, how much is your order? And I'm like, about $6. And he's like, okay. So he meticulously chose a very tiny burger, very tiny basic burger that's like $2.50, small fries, and water. And he paid $5.44. So at the end, he did pay for food. But again, like, if nothing, no one's stopping you from buying a whole meal. Go ahead. I'll wait for you if you can't finish faster. And he's a very fast eater. So I don't know what's the fuss. But yeah, I sat at one spot and he's like, no, sit here by the window, because he wants to watch over his Tesla. So that's what we did, and we just chatted there, and yeah, we talked about applications, the USC and the Chapman, how crazy it is. He told me he made a lot of friends in the last month. He made a bunch of friends, a bunch of people who are in USC, a bunch of people, like one person in UCLA, but not film. And he said he made a friend who works as one of the admission officers for USC, like for Common App. So he knows a lot about USC Common Application. And he said he even has notes. He said he wrote a transfer statement for the USC Common App and he readjusted it 12 times. And he was on a call with this friend, and the friend kept saying, nope, don't do that. Don't write that. So I thought, wow, like the demands are high. It's tough. So I read my personal statement to him, like some parts of it. And I also read my transfer statement, the interest pursuit essay, the USC Why Me essay. And he's like, wow, it's really good. It's really good. Your English might be even better than a lot of like local Americans. And I was like, wow, really? Thank you. Wow. So I don't know how genuine he is, but if he says it's good, then I guess there's that, you know. But I do feel proud of my personal statement. I do think it's definitely one of my better works. And yeah, I feel like if I am a fast worker, I might be able to finish the freaking personal statement tonight for Chapman. Like, I can finish the whole thing, actually. The Chapman Common App. I feel like I can do it tonight, even though I am crunched for time. So after finishing the meal, it was like 8 p.m. He drove me back home. And he even said, I'm going to ask Pepper if she also wants to ride to CMD on Thursday, because Pepper also wants to go to Film 33 on Thursday. I'm like, sure. And then I told Thomas that something weird happened between me and Pepper, and we haven't talked for over a month. And so it's awkward. And Thomas was like, you asked her out? And I'm like, no, nothing happened. And that's exactly what's weird, because usually we chat. At least every other day, I and Pepper chat. But for some reason, we just stopped talking to each other. Kind of like April last year, but even worse. But I'm fine with Thomas picking up Pepper. I'm totally fine. I'm not budged. I'm not pressed. I'm not budged. I feel fine. And Thomas is the first person I told this about, of course, aside from Potter. And yeah, I just, of course, in the world of LA, you know, I've discussed this with Pink and Zara and others. But I don't want to tell people like Cliff and Christian and Eric about my situation with Pepper, because it's not their issue, and I don't want to make this a big issue. But I thought Thomas should know at least, if he questions why we're acting so awkward. But yeah, that's that. And then that's it. So apparently, Thomas was given the permission to take more than 16 units per semester, because maximum is 16, but Thomas takes 18, 19, maybe 20 units. Like last fall semester, Thomas took 6 classes, a bunch of history class and whatever. And next semester in spring, he's taking 4 history classes, all online, 1 acting class every Monday, which is going to be hilarious. Thomas is going to be clowned on so hard. And also he's going to try to enter Film 33. But yeah, you know, without a doubt, tomorrow will be the first day of the semester, and it's bloody exciting. And I really don't know what will happen. I'm gonna see Pepper tomorrow. I really don't know what's gonna happen. She's probably gonna act all normal. Like she's probably gonna act really plain, really normal, and she's gonna be like, "Oh hi," and act like it's fine. Act like we're fine. It's whatever. If Pepper says hi to me tomorrow, I'll say hi back. I don't care, but I will not like stick to her a lot anymore. I'll act like a loner. I'll act a bit more like a loner. I'll be seeing Potter tomorrow as well, so that's probably nice, I guess. Um, yeah. And so, yeah, excited for tomorrow, I guess. If lucky, I'll run into Alba and Eric. Um, like, because they're both morning. But yeah, excited for tomorrow. Round 3 truly begins tomorrow, and I guess we'll see. But yeah, hopefully it's not that bad. And also, I have to do auditions. I have to help John L. do auditions tomorrow, so that's I want to sleep earlier tonight, so I probably won't have the time to watch the menu. Fuck. But I feel like I can finish the Common App at least for Chapman, so let that be the case, please. And then that's pretty much it. Yeah, really don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Really don't know. It's gonna be wild. But yeah, Jacob, the Chinese roommate, came back home with another woman. Apparently, when Jacob relocated to the 3rd floor because his room was flooded, this woman was his roommate. And this woman was really nice to me, like, "Oh, hi, what's your name?" And I'm like, "Enoch." And she's like, "Nice to meet you." And then a little bit later, Jacob returned, and I asked him, "Oh, who won?" And he's like, "The Chiefs." And I'm like, "Well, which is from where?" And he's like, "Kansas." And I'm like, "Against who?" And he's like, "Against the Eagles from," I forgot what place, Philadelphia. And I'm like, "Well, who are you rooting for?" And he's like, "Chiefs." And I'm like, "Oh, that's good." And he said, "Well, yeah, because where I'm from, like, which is the East Coast, they're against the Eagles, so he's happy that the Chiefs won." And I'm like, "Okay." And that's it. So yeah, not much else. All right, Chapman University, here we go. All right, and then boom. All right, here we go. I submitted my application. I'm covering up my address. Hopefully I'm not showing anything else. Time now is 12:55 after midnight. I have once again cannot watch any movies or anything at all completely. I cannot. I just fucking can't. After completing the Chapman Common App essays and everything, it's already like 12 and I still have to edit my movie review and album review, and I still want to edit Cloud Busting a little bit for the 5-minute version. I just don't have the fucking time to watch any movies or TV shows, and it's insane because I feel like back in last semester I do have the time for that every single day, like assignments plus YouTube stuff plus movie stuff, but somehow maybe I'm slower nowadays. I don't know what's going on with me, but I just don't have the fucking time. Again, I have to push it to tomorrow again, but that's okay because I don't have a watch list system. I'm not pressed to watch movies. Call my mom for 11 minutes. I also, right before I submitted my Common App for Chapman, I realized, holy shit, one of the essays, the transfer essay for Chapman, is also simultaneously a why me essay, like why Chapman essay. So I immediately changed a paragraph. And then another thing is the interest in major essay, the 200-word interest in major essay for for some reason, even though it's less than 200 words, it's more than 1,000 characters. It's like 1,200 characters, something like that. So I had to delete even more words and even more sentences and simplify it even more to submit it. But at last I submitted it. I also found out that apparently Chapman requires a letter of rec. So just one, even though apparently they recommend two if I'm applying for like anything art related, but just one. So I told them to email my mom's colleague, and then nothing else. I got Chapman Common App out of the way, and it still got USC Common App, USC Portfolio, and Chapman Portfolio. So this is gonna be absolutely fun. And it's already like 1 a.m. So fuck me, I guess.